grant of citizenship by Section 6A, whether Section 6A2 or 6A3. Now, what happens to those who were not granted the benefit of citizenship, but they are illegal immigrants, and they continue to remain in Indian territory without the grant of citizenship, and nothing was done about them at all?
No, that is post 71 entrants.
Actually, Mr. Solicitor, there are two categories which 6A covers. One, people who came before 1166. Second, people who came between 1166 and 25,371. For those who came before 1166, there were two conditions. One, you must have come from the specified territory, namely that, the specified territory means
Present
Bangladesh. Second, you must be of an Indian origin. Indian origin as defined in the provisions of 6A1D, namely both your parents or any of your grandparents must have been born in undivided India. That's the second. And third, that you have continued to be an ordinary resident of Assam since you came before 1966. So 6A2 contained these three provisions, right? 6A3 covers the period 1166 to 25,371. That incorporates all these three conditions, plus a fourth condition, namely the condition of detection. The requirement of detection was not imposed on those who came into India, into Assam prior to 1166. That was imposed for this group of people who came in between 1166 and 25 March 71. So the only difference between subsection 2 and subsection 3 is that subsection 3 imposes one more condition, namely the condition of being detected by the tribe.
So the people who came between 51 and 66 remained without any adjudication. They
remained without adjudication.
That's the section.
In that larger group, a smaller group of persons who got the benefit of 6A by actually becoming citizens.
That was a part of the settlement which resulted into a legislative enactment. That's the position. But foreigner tribunals are functioning. Maybe number of foreigner tribunals are required to be increased. The space requires to be increased, and for post 71 influx, the steps need to be taken. I'm not shying away from.
Though the analogy is not exactly correct in this case, in Ramanohar Lohia, Chief Justice Hidayatullah gave the example of concentric circles. Concentric circles. The bigger circle, the smaller circle.
Yes.
Now, in this case, the bigger circle, to use Justice Hidayatullah, Chief Justice Hidayatullah's analogy, the bigger concentric circle consists of people who came into India from Bangladesh between 66 to 71. The smaller concentric circle within that larger concentric circle is people who get the benefit of citizenship under 6A. The area between the larger and the smaller circle is of people who came in between 66 and 71, but never got the benefit of citizenship.
No, they would get. 66 to 71, they would.
Everybody didn't get citizenship.
So they would, Malu.
No, everybody qualified to get citizenship, but everybody didn't get citizenship as a matter of fact. Because unless there was a detection order, you wouldn't get citizenship.
Yeah, correct. Well, the detection.
Right? Yeah, had come who were still in India but never got citizenship.
Well, I'll add one more.
What happened to those people?
No, 71 will have to be given citizenship if declared to be foreigner by the tribunal. The problem is, if the tribunal takes a little longer decision, for declaration, or either way the tribunal decides whether you are a foreigner or you are not a foreigner, and there is a challenge to the High Court, to this court, remand, etc., then that period, they are not getting the citizenship because it has to be dependent upon a final adjudication that you are a foreigner.
Because the difference between subsection 2 and subsection 3 is, under subsection 2, Parliament decided that anybody who came before 1166 would become a citizen, subject to fulfilling three conditions: Indian origin, specified territory, and ordinary residence.
Correct.
All right, once you satisfied it, there was a deemed conferment of citizenship.
that their cultural rights under 21 have been impacted by this demographic change. That's one. Number two, that Article 14 has been violated for the reason that while this protection is given to migrated people in Assam, it's not given to others. And number three, they say that Section 5 and 6 are frozen in time in the Constitution. Article 5 and 6 are frozen in time. And therefore 6A cannot in fact have been enacted. Broadly speaking, these are the three broad submissions. Now, there's a fallacy in each one of them, and I demonstrated right away. Mullad's migration of peoples and populations is embedded in history. It cannot be mapped. No migration can ever be mapped. And if you look at the history of Assam, you'll realize that it's impossible to figure out who came when. Assam originally was a part of Myanmar. And it was way back in 1824, after the British Mullads conquered a part of it, that a treaty was entered into by which Assam was handed over to the British. And I'm talking about 1826, 1824, 1826. You can imagine the kind of movements of peoples that must have taken place in the context of the then British Empire. And if you jump to 1905, you will have the partition of Bengal. And in the partition of Bengal, East Bengal and Assam became one. Indeed, at that point in time, Bengali language was forced to be taught in schools. There was a huge opposition to that. So this interaction between the Ahom people, who are the original inhabitants of that part of Assam that was taken away from Myanmar, integrated with the non-Ahom peoples. And therefore, the interaction and the absorption of the Bengali population in Assam has a historical context. In 1911, Mullads, it was reversed. The partition of Bengal was reversed. But they belong to the same area. The ethnicity was different. The language was different. And all these problems were created by the British. Because when the independence of India took place, East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh, was carved into a separate country. And the exodus happened because of the fact that the ethnic minorities, linguistic minorities, as well as the majority community in East Bengal, in East Pakistan was not willing to stay there. The problem on the West Coast was entirely different. On the Western border was entirely different. Because on the Western border, it was the Hindus who were coming into India, not the Muslims. The Muslims were given the choice to go there. That's why the date 19th of July. If you not come on the 16th of August, Mullahs, we are people who have been displaced from Lahore. My maternal grandparents were killed on the 16th of August. But there are many people, Mullahs, who came here afterwards. And they had to be given refuge. So therefore the 19th of July date, therefore the mechanism. That would never have happened in Assam. From East Italy on the 16th of August. But there are many people, Mullahs, who came here afterwards. And they had to be given refuge. So therefore the 19th of July date, therefore the mechanism. That would never have happened in Assam. From East Italy on the 16th of August. But there are many people, Maraths, who came here afterwards. And they had to be given refuge. So therefore the 19th of July date, therefore the mechanism. That would never have happened in Assam. From East Italy on the 16th of August. But there are many people, Maraths, who came here afterwards. And they had to be given minorities. Wanted to come into India because it was originally a part of India, part of the British Empire. So when this partition took place, naturally, people of Indian ethnicity, Bengali ethnicity, their language would want to come. Try and argue a constitutional point, which is the point I'm getting at, to say that this has changed the cultural ambience of Assam is constitutionally invalid. Because you can